Hi, I'm Andy Jerger. I recently retired from Home Depot, where I worked in software product management. Some of you don't know me, but many do. For over a decade, I would do a quarterly earnings release review that was easy to understand, informative, and maybe a little entertaining. By the time I left, there were 900 folks or so that would tune in to watch the show. When I retired, I continued to do the review and created my own YouTube channel called Andy Makes Sense of It to continue to do the quarterly reviews. And I, I plan to expand upon that, but I've discovered that in retirement, my time management skills have deteriorated a lot. But that's not why I'm here today. That's not why I'm doing this. I have something to say about the recent Home Depot layoffs. I know a lot of folks who were impacted. Some of them reached out to me. I want to see if we can make sense of this together. As I said, I'm getting ready for the fourth quarter fiscal 2025 earnings release review. It'll be available the last week in February. It's not going to be pretty based on Wall Street expectations. Now, for those impacted by the layoffs, it's scary. One minute you're working, and the next minute you simply aren't. The rug has been pulled out from under you, and you no longer have that every other week deposit going into your checking account. Regardless if you've been there for weeks, months, years, or decades, it hits hard. You didn't see this coming, so your next question is, now what? The way I understand this, it's a reduction in force. So you've been RIFed. You weren't let go because of performance. You weren't let go because of anything you did or didn't do, or anything you said or didn't say, or you should have said. You got let go because the company decided to reduce expenses via a headcount reduction. With the ugly earnings release coming up, from a purely business standpoint, kind of makes sense. Of course, that doesn't help you in any way, except that going forward, when you're interviewing for that new position that you're going to get, you can simply say you were RIFed. No need to get into details of why on your resume. It says your time at THD ended in January 2026. I was involved in a layoff. I got RIFed. Now, I also have something to say to the folks who were left behind. You were impacted too, just in a different way. The steadiness, comfort, confidence that you felt on a daily basis has been shaken. If it happened to my coworkers, it can happen to me. Every time I go in the office or I log on, I don't have that same secure feeling anymore. It's incredibly unsettling. Y'all need to take a deep breath, relax, move forward, nose to the grindstone, and keep on keeping on. Continue to be a friend or support person to those who are no longer there. That being said, hey, I'm putting myself out there. If you want to chat, you want to email me please, andy.jerger@gmail.com. I can't promise I'll get you a job. You got to do that. But I'm here to listen, provide support, help you move forward as much as I can. I'm not giving you money, but I'll certainly do a role play with you for an interview you've got coming up. If you want me to take a look at your resume, I can do that. There are probably other people that are better and more suited to help you with that. But hey, I'm just saying, I'm here. Email me. We'll set up some time and we'll have a conversation. All right. Now, I want to tell you a story, and it's related to this. Bear with me. I've never told anyone this story from front to back like I'm about to today, but there's a reason for it. Hang in there. Maybe you want to get some popcorn or something. I don't know. On December 4th, 2008, I was RIFed from the software company I work for. Remember, I've been in the retail industry for over 40 years. At that company, I was a retail industry consultant. I remember the day. I remember the conversation. My boss's boss put a meeting on my calendar called Catch Up. For those of you that know me, you never put a meeting on my calendar with the subject of catch up because it gives me PTSD. So after that call, I was let go. I remember feeling absolutely helpless. It seemed I was working without a safety net. I was tossed out of an airplane without a parachute. I felt like the brakes on my car no longer worked. You get the point, right? This was the first time in my life I was unemployed ever. At that time, I was living in Northern California, which is not an inexpensive place to live. I was married. I had a house. I had 2 cars. I didn't own any of them outright. So those are 3 payments I had to make, plus insurance, plus utilities, blah, 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 blah. My count them, 3 kids were all teenagers at the time. So they were either in high school or in college. Buddy, money was flowing like water. The 2008 housing crash, bubble, market adjustment, whatever was happening, folks were losing their jobs and houses in droves. It was not a good time, not that there ever is, to be looking for a job. After the dust settled, I thought I would be able to quickly pivot and find another position somewhere relatively quickly. I started doing the networking thing. I posted on LinkedIn, which was new at the time. Posted my resume online, made phone calls, emailed people that I knew. That went on for about 3 months. Had a few interviews, talked to a lot of people. I was still without income. Severance package wasn't that great. I was already living paycheck to paycheck before that happened. So to supplement my income, I began taking money out of my 401k. Sure, I had to pay a penalty, but what was I going to do? I had no other sources of income. Reached out to my family, and I wasn't too pleased about it at the time, but I was told I would get no real support. Air quotes. We'd like to help, but we can't support you and your family going forward, so we're not even going to start. End quote. Probably both the worst and the best thing that could have happened. After 6 months of being unemployed, I began feeling like there was something wrong with me. Why am I not getting hired? The interviews had dried up. I'd contacted and recontacted many in my network, still to no avail. My self-confidence was shot. I began to think about how worthless I was. It was not a good time at all. After 8 months, I still had no job. I even went to a local Wendy's who had helped wanted sign, whatever. And I'll never forget the conversation I had with the manager there. He said, we're not going to hire you. I know what this is. You're just doing this as a fill-in until you get a job in your industry, and then you're going to be gone. I'm not going to take the time to train you up for you to leave in a short period of time. Once again, another example of being both the worst and the best thing that can happen, but I didn't realize that at the time. Then I went to the county welfare department to apply for whatever. I didn't know what I was applying for. I didn't know how to do that. Never been in the situation before. I did know I was quickly running out of money. Charge cards were maxed. I had responsibilities to tend to. I was at the end of my rope. I couldn't bring myself to go in, though. I don't know, too proud, too self-reliant. I don't know, but I just couldn't. Then in mid-August of 2009, I received a phone call a little bit after 6 a.m. I had a landline at the time, had a caller ID, some tech company. It's a little after 6, right? So I answer with the morning groggy hello, and the person on the other end is like, oh my God, I forgot there's a 3-hour time difference. We proceeded to have the call, and it was about a contracting position at the Home Depot in Atlanta. I was wary. I was a little excited as finally somebody thought I might have value, because I certainly didn't at the time. So I'm not going to go into how that happened, but the rest is really history. After working as a contractor for 9 months and commuting back and forth between Georgia and California, I became a THD orange-blooded associate in June of 2010, and I moved to Atlanta. 15 years and 4 months later, I retired. I'll need to do another episode of Andy Makes Sense of It to explain how I did that. The whole reason I shared this with you is to let you know that everyone has value. You do matter. And the old definition of success is where preparation, opportunity, and luck meet is true, by golly. You did X amount of time at the world's largest home improvement retailer. That's your preparation. Your opportunity, like money, opportunities don't grow on trees. You have to work to earn it and find it. Then, with a little bit of luck, you'll be on your way to your next adventure. How do I know? Been there, done that, got the retirement orange apron to prove it. Now, you go make it happen.